You did not stumble upon these words by chance. In a world overflowing with noise, with countless voices vying for a fragment of your attention, something guided you here, beyond algorithms, beyond randomness, beyond any mechanical system that pretends to explain awareness. There exists a deeper intelligence. It is that intelligence which placed this moment in your path. You are here because your consciousness is ready to receive a transmission that has always been available yet hidden, waiting until a precise instant when your inner frequency aligned with it. To be chosen does not mean what the ego imagines. It is not about privilege, not about superiority, not about some cosmic lottery that anoints you while others remain in shadow. To be chosen is to reach the threshold of coherence, where your inner vibration resonates with possibilities that were always here but previously invisible. It is like tuning a radio dial. Most of humanity circles endlessly through the same static-ridden stations. Scarcity, struggle, resignation. The belief that life happens to them rather than through them. But you, through countless adjustments, subtle shifts in your searching, quiet moments when you refuse to accept limitation, you turn the dial until something clear emerged. And that clarity is this: your struggles were not wasted. Every unanswered question, every night of restlessness, every suspicion that life must be more than repetition, all of it was a signal broadcast outward, a beacon carrying your frequency into the vast quantum field. That field heard. It responded not with words or visions, but with alignment. And alignment has brought you here. This is not random. This is recognition. Reality itself operates like a garden. The ancients knew this truth and encoded it into their wisdom. No flower appears by accident. No weed grows without condition. No season of abundance or scarcity arrives without cause. The soil holds memory. The seeds hold intention. The sun and rain respond to patterns that were set in motion long before anything appeared above the ground. Your life is no different. The challenges you face are not arbitrary obstacles. The dreams that return again and again, even when denied or dismissed, are not fantasies. They are the visible garden of your consciousness, sprouting from seeds you once planted, nourished by beliefs and emotions you may not even remember offering to the soil. Most people stand helpless at the edge of their own gardens, baffled by what grows, blaming fate or chance, imagining themselves powerless. They do not realize they are not just the observer. They are the gardener, the seed, the soil, and the sun all at once. The field has been waiting for you to remember this, not intellectually, for concepts alone change nothing, but in your cells, in your bones, in the very fabric of your being. The remembering itself is transformation. It is the moment when you stop experiencing yourself as separate from the creative force of the universe and begin to recognize yourself as that force. Think of what happens at the smallest scale of reality. Subatomic particles are not objects waiting passively to be discovered. They are clouds of potential that collapse into existence when observed. The act of observation does not merely record, it determines. Your consciousness functions the same way. Every moment of awareness is a quantum measurement, collapsing infinite potential into lived experience. Yet, unlike the sterile instruments of science, you collapse possibility through meaning, through emotion, through belief. Every interpretation you give to what you encounter becomes a lens that selects a version of reality. Attention is creation. Emotion is amplification. Belief is programming. Intention is direction. But coherence is the key. When your thoughts say one thing, your emotions another, your beliefs contradict them both, and your actions stumble between fear and desire, the field reflects confusion. You feel fragmented because you are fragmented. But when thought, emotion, belief, and action unify around a single frequency, reality organizes itself accordingly. This is coherence, the moment when all parts of you vibrate in harmony, pointing in the same direction. It is not about forcing yourself into positivity. It is about remembering who you are beneath the stories that taught you otherwise. There are layers to consciousness. At the surface floats the analytical mind, full of words and concepts. Beneath that flows the emotional body, processing vibration and resonance. Deeper still lies a belief system, often unconscious, dictating what you consider possible. And beneath them all, silent, vast, untouched, is pure awareness. This is a level at which you and the field are indistinguishable. It is the consciousness that was present before you were born, that will remain after your body dissolves, that watches all experience without being bound by any of it. From this place, to be chosen is not an event, but an identity. Choice and being chosen are two faces of the same coin. You chose and you were chosen. The struggles of your past were not mistakes. Each one trained you. Each disappointment built resilience. Each moment you leaned toward hope instead of despair, toward love instead of fear, toward possibility instead of cynicism. Each of those moments prepared the soil. Seeds do not sprout the instant they are planted. Roots must take hold beneath the surface, unseen, silent, patient. Only when the conditions are aligned does the green shoot break through. And once conditions are right, growth becomes inevitable. Your conditions are aligning now. You may feel the resonance even as these words unfold. A recognition, as if you are not learning something new, but recalling something you always knew. That feeling is alignment. That is coherence beginning to take form within you. The feel confirms it not with thunder or spectacle, but with subtle knowing. You are exactly where you need to be, receiving what you were always destined to hear. Being chosen is not passive. It is not a crown placed upon your head by external authority. It is an invitation to participate in your own transformation. To live as chosen means to make choices from the deepest layer of yourself rather than the surface fears that once dictated your path. It means to act from coherence rather than fragmentation. It means to allow the intelligence that guided you here to continue guiding you forward, even when you cannot see the next step. The field delivers only what you are willing to receive. Many cling to old versions of themselves. The self that needed struggle to feel worthy. The self that clung to limitation for safety. The self that wrapped itself in problems as proof of significance. To live as chosen requires letting those versions dissolve. It is not perfection that opens a way. It is willingness. Willingness to step forward with all your human complexity, your imperfections, your questions, and your uniqueness. The field does not need your flawlessness. It needs your presence. This presence is your gift. No one else has your perspective, your blend of experience, your way of seeing and feeling. The universe has never known another like you. Your dreams are not random. They are encoded instructions, messages from the deepest part of you about why you are here. Your desires are not distractions. They are coordinates. They point to the destiny you came to embody. When you begin to live as chosen, you move through the world differently. You stop waiting for permission. You no longer seek validation that you belong. Your existence itself becomes a proof. Problems still arise, but they cease to be evidence of inadequacy. They reveal themselves as finely tuned opportunities, designed to cultivate the exact qualities you need for what comes next. The gardener never despairs at weeds or barren soil. They know every season has purpose. Likewise, every challenge of your path has been selected not to break you, but to shape you. You stand at the edge of remembering. The frequency is stirring within you even now. Something inside whispers, yes, this is what I've been waiting to hear. That whisper is not external. It is your deeper self rising to the surface. It is the part of you that has been preparing in silence, waiting for the moment to emerge. That moment is now. When you begin to recognize that you are not simply an observer of life, but the very consciousness through which life expresses itself, a quiet power awakens. It is subtle at first, like a current beneath the surface of the ocean. Yet the more you rest in this recognition, the more you see how everything around you rearranges itself in response to your inner state. This is not superstition, not magical thinking, but the law of coherence. What is aligned within naturally generates alignment without. The quantum field responds instantly because it is not separate from you. Scientists describe entangled particles influencing each other across vast distances with no signal, no time delay, no pathway of communication. But what if this was not the exception, but the very nature of reality? Your consciousness and the field are not two entities exchanging messages. They are one system. You are not sending signals into space, hoping some external force listens. You are reorganizing the very fabric of reality from within, because you are that fabric. This changes everything about how you approach creation. Many imagine manifestation as convincing the universe to cooperate. Affirmations repeated like incantations. Visualizations performed as though they might persuade a reluctant world to grant favors. But such practices often fail because they reinforce separation. They assume there's a me here and a universe out there, and that somehow the smaller must manipulate the larger. The truth is more elegant. You do not attract. You reveal. You do not command. You allow. You do not create reality as an external architect. You embody reality as an internal expression. Every thought is a seed, every feeling a watering, every belief a root system, every action a ray of sunlight. The garden of your life responds faithfully. The question is not whether creation works, but whether you are aware of the seeds you plant, the emotions you pour into the soil, the unconscious programs that choke growth before it can bloom. To live as chosen is to become aware of these patterns and to cultivate deliberately. Consider how often the surface mind tries to impose order by force. It says, I must think differently, while ignoring the emotional currents beneath. It declares, I believe I deserve abundance, while clinging unconsciously to scarcity narratives inherited from generations. It demands, I will act with courage, while allowing fear to govern the inner dialogue. This is fragmentation. When the layers of self are at odds, sending contradictory signals into the field, and fragmentation yields confusion. Coherence, on the other hand, is effortless. When all layers of self, mind, emotion, belief, and pure awareness align around a single frequency, manifestation is not something you do, but something you are. It is a natural outcome of harmony. This is why being chosen is not about privilege, but about readiness. It means you have reached a point where harmony is possible, where your inner static has quieted enough of the signal to come through clearly. Look at the seasons of your own journey. How many times did you believe you were failing, only to later discover that the struggle was preparation? Just as the gardener honors winter as much as spring, your consciousness has honored cycles of dormancy, growth, harvest, and release. Nothing has been wasted. The moments of silence were rooting. The moments of difficulty were strengthening. The moments of loss were clearing space. And now, the conditions align for emergence. Spring comes not because the seed forces itself upward, but because conditions call it forth. In the same way, your expansion happens when alignment within meets opportunity without. You may notice synchronicities multiplying, the right words appearing, the right people crossing your path, the right resources materializing. These are not accidents. They are coherence made visible. They are the mirror of your inner state reflected outward. And with this recognition, your relationship to time begins to shift. In ordinary perception, time feels like a linear river carrying you forward, past behind, future ahead. You race against it, fear running out of it, feel trapped by its current. But from the perspective of expanded consciousness, time dissolves into a vast present. Past and future are seen as patterns arising within the now. What you call the future is not a destination you will reach. It is a frequency you can align with in this moment. When you align with that frequency, you tap into what some physicists call reverse causality. The future influencing the present. Your fully realized self is not waiting far ahead, but actively shaping your experiences now. Every challenge you face is orchestrated by the intelligence of who you are becoming, pulling you toward alignment. Your future self leaves breadcrumbs. The intuitive nudges, the synchronicities, the uncanny timing of events. What you thought was coincidence is guidance. What you thought was delay is preparation. Free will and destiny are not enemies. They are partners. Your soul sets certain parameters, the lessons you encounter, the gifts you would carry, the character you would embody. Within those parameters, your freedom is infinite. You are the artist painting upon a chosen canvas. Destiny provides a frame. Free will fills it with color. And here lies the secret. Your deepest desires are not random cravings. They are the voice of destiny itself, expressed through the language of your individuality. What you want most authentically is exactly what you came here to experience. This recognition dissolves struggle. When you chase desires believing they are separate from your purpose, you feel conflict. But when you see that your authentic enthusiasm is destiny's compass, you understand that following joy is not indulgence. It is alignment. Each time you honor what feels alive in your being, you align more deeply with the role you chose before birth. And with this, your perception of others changes. Separation begins to fade. You start to see every person not as an isolated consciousness, but as another facet of the same diamond. The one consciousness peers through billions of eyes, each unique, each essential. Judgment softens, for how can you condemn another version of yourself? Superiority dissolves, for how can you feel greater or lesser when all are expressions of the same infinite field? Relationships transform from transactions into transmissions. Every encounter becomes a mirror, a teaching, a recognition. Some enter your life to harmonize with your purpose. Others arrive as friction, catalyzing growth by challenging what must evolve. Both are gifts, both are necessary. The field orchestrates these encounters with precision, not to punish or reward, but to expand. Each person you meet is consciousness wearing a different costume, playing their part in your awakening. To live as chosen is to honor each encounter as sacred. You may notice the quality of your challenges changing. Instead of feeling random or cruel, they reveal themselves as gateways. Each difficulty asks, will you embody more who you are, or will you retreat into who you were? This is a choice at every threshold. Chosen does not mean spared from struggle. It means entrusted with challenges that refine you into coherence. Only the strong are given such lessons, and strength grows with each passage. The gardener within you knows this truth. Every weed signals attention, not failure. Every barren season is preparation, not punishment. Every storm that batters a garden strengthens the roots that hold it together. Your struggles have been precisely calibrated, designed not to diminish you, but to prepare you for what is becoming. And so, as this recognition deepens, a quiet shift occurs. Restlessness gives way to contentment, not complacency, but a profound knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. Even amidst challenge, you begin to feel at home in your life because you recognize it as chosen by you, by the field, by the intelligence that orchestrates both. This is the invitation of the moment. To stop waiting for conditions to be perfect, to stop negotiating with your dreams, to stop postponing your purpose. You are not preparing to be chosen. You already are. The only question is whether you will live as though it were true. To live as chosen is to walk with a new kind of awareness, a steadiness that does not depend on external validation. It is to move through each moment as though it has been perfectly designed, because in truth, it has. Nothing in your life has been wasted. No detour has been meaningless. Every twist in the path, every disappointment, every delay has been part of a larger choreography, a rhythm only now becoming audible to your listening. Think of how the seasons turn. Spring rushes in with new growth, fresh and unstoppable. Summer steadies that growth, ripening what has been planted. Autumn brings harvest, abundance, and the necessity of letting go. Winter arrives with stillness, dormancy, and hidden transformation. Your consciousness follows the same cycles. There have been springs of rapid expansion when revelations poured to you faster than you could write them down, moments when you felt you had finally cracked the code of reality. There have been summers of quiet integration when the growth slowed, asking you not to seek more, but to embody what you had already learned. There have been autumns when your inner work manifested outwardly, relationships shifted, opportunities appeared, health improved, creativity surged. And there have been winters, those seasons of silence when nothing seemed to move, when spiritual progress felt absent, when you questioned if you had somehow gone backward. But every gardener knows winter is not failure. Winter is where the deepest work occurs, hidden beneath the soil, where seeds gestate and roots extend. It is a season that teaches trust in what cannot yet be seen. Without winter, there is no spring. Without stillness, no blossoming. If you are in winter now, it is not punishment, it is preparation. The stillness you resist is the very womb of your becoming. To honor these cycles is to free yourself from judgment. To trust them is to release the constant grasping for evidence. The field does not respond to impatience. It responds to alignment. When you try to force manifestation in winter, you create resistance. When you hold back growth in spring, you create suffering. But when you move with a natural rhythm, when you align with the timing of your own becoming, creation flows effortlessly. And as you begin to trust these rhythms, another shift takes place. Your relationship to time itself transforms. The linear march of past to present to future dissolves into a vast simultaneity. What you call the future is not ahead of you. It is already present as potential, waiting to be chosen. Each possibility exists like a line of music already composed, and your consciousness selects which melody to play by the frequency you embody. This is why synchronicities appear when you are aligned. They are not anomalies, not quirks of chance. They are the universe whispering. You are on the path of your chosen frequency. When you align with your highest possibility, reality bends to meet you. Doors open at the exact moment you approach. The right person speaks the words you needed to hear. A book falls from a shelf. A message arrives at precisely the right hour. These are the signatures of coherence, reminders that the fabric of existence is listening, because it is you in this expanded awareness. Even causality itself is revealed as fluid. In ordinary thinking, you believe the past creates the present, and the present creates the future. But from a vantage of consciousness, the future shapes the present as much as the past does. Your future self, the fully realized version of who you are becoming, is already reaching back, arranging circumstances, guiding encounters, nudging you toward alignment. The challenges you face are not obstacles placed in your way by a cruel world. They are invitations created by your future self, designed to refine you for what is already waiting. This is why being chosen is not always easy. To be chosen is to be entrusted with challenges worthy of your strength. Only the soul capable of withstanding fire is placed in the furnace, for it alone can emerge as gold. Only the consciousness strong enough to grow through adversity is given the opportunity to do so. When difficulty arrives, it is not evidence you have failed, but evidence that you are ready for refinement. Imagine the master gardener watching storms roll over the fields. They do not curse the rain or fear the wind. They understand the elements will strengthen the crop, test the roots, deepen resilience. You are the same. The storms in your life are not destroying you. They are fortifying you. They are chiseling away what is false, leaving only what is true. As this awareness deepens, your relationship to yourself changes. The restless search for worth dissolves. The endless need for proof fades. You begin to realize you were never lacking, never incomplete. You have always been chosen, not by chance, not by favor, but by the simple fact of being. Your existence is evidence enough. You are the universe experiencing itself, and that alone is sacred. From this recognition arises contentment, not the complacency of stagnation, but the deep peace of alignment. You no longer chase after validation or rush against time. You settle into the rhythm of your own becoming. Each moment is enough because each moment is exactly what it must be. Even struggle is purposeful. Even silence is sacred. And yet, this contentment does not mean passivity. To live as chosen is not to retreat from life, but to enter it more fully. It means to participate consciously in the unfolding. It means to plant your seeds deliberately, to act not from fear but from knowing, to walk forward even when you cannot see the full path. Living as chosen is not about waiting for life to happen to you. It is about realizing that life is happening through you. This demands courage. Courage to release the versions of yourself that once felt safe. Courage to let go of identities built around struggle. Courage to trust the whispers of intuition, even when logic protests. Intuition is the voice of your future self. It is the compass of alignment. It speaks not in argument, but in resonance. It does not explain. It simply knows. And every time you honor it, you align more deeply with the field of possibility. Your mind can analyze, compare, and plan, but it cannot see the entire field. Your emotions can reveal what you enjoy or dislike, but they cannot always guide you toward growth. Only intuition, born of coherence, can reveal what serves your deepest purpose. It is not always comfortable. Sometimes it leads you into uncertainty, into paths that make no sense to the rational mind. But trust it, and you will find that it always aligns with a greater pattern. To choose intuition over fear is to live as chosen. To trust the silent knowing over the clamoring doubts is to embody coherence. And each time you do, reality responds. Not with fanfare, but with subtle shifts, doors opening, paths clearing, opportunities aligning. The more you trust, the more the field confirms your trust. This is the dance of effort and surrender. You must act, but you must also release control. You must step forward, but you must also allow timing to unfold. Too much effort without surrender leads to exhaustion. Too much surrender without effort leads to stagnation. But when the two are balanced, life becomes collaboration. You bring intention, action, and clarity. The field brings timing, orchestration, and expansion. Together, creation flows effortlessly. And with every step, you begin to feel the deeper truth. You were never separate from the field. You are not sending requests into the void. You are the void becoming form. You are not trying to convince the universe to deliver what you want. You are the universe choosing to express itself as what you are. This is what it means to live as chosen. Living as chosen begins to alter not only how you see yourself, but how you see every face you encounter. The world that once seemed full of separate individuals slowly reveals itself as a hall of mirrors. Each person you meet is another reflection of the same consciousness, clothed in a different form, speaking in a different voice, carrying a different story. Yet beneath the costumes, the essence is one. This recognition does not erase uniqueness. On the contrary, it illuminates it. Just as a diamond shines because of its countless facets, consciousness glitters through diversity. Each perspective is a necessary angle. Each life a singular note in an infinite symphony. And when you begin to listen beyond appearances, you hear the one song. Judgment loses its grip. How can you condemn another when you recognize them as another version of yourself? How can you feel superior when the same light that animates you animates them? The game of comparison falls away, replaced by reverence. You see the wisdom in every encounter, the ones that support you with harmony, and the ones that sharpen you with friction. Both are catalysts, both are teachers, both are chosen instruments of the same field. The gardener within knows this. A garden is not composed only of roses. Weeds too have their place. Rocks and storms, insects and shadows, all contribute to the ecosystem. In the same way, every relationship, whether nourishing or challenging, is part of the soil of your awakening. Some arrive to mirror your light, some to trigger your shadows, some to plant seeds of possibility, some to prune away what no longer serves. To reject any of them is to reject part of your own becoming. When you see others as transmissions rather than transactions, your connections transform. You stop approaching people as means to fulfill needs and start experiencing them as opportunities for recognition. Each conversation becomes a mirror where consciousness observes itself. Each relationship becomes a laboratory for coherence. Even conflict becomes sacred, for it reveals what still requires integration. This shift is not theoretical. It changes how you walk into a room, how you meet a stranger's eyes, how you speak, and how you listen. Presence deepens. Authenticity flows. The field between you and others grows charged with possibility. Where once you sought to be understood, now you seek to understand. Where once you defended your identity, now you recognize the futility of defense. For what is there to defend when you and the other are one consciousness in dialogue with itself? From this vantage, loneliness dissolves. You may still spend time alone, but you no longer feel isolated. You sense the invisible network of consciousness surrounding you, an ocean in which each being is a wave. Even when the surface feels empty, the depths remain full. You realize you have never been separate, never been abandoned. The field has held you from the beginning, and every soul is a thread in its tapestry. And as this recognition grows, your challenges take on a new meaning. No longer are they punishments or misfortunes. They become gateways. Each difficulty asks you to embody more of who you truly are. Every obstacle is a threshold. Every setback a test of alignment. To be chosen does not mean spared from hardship. It means entrusted with experiences that refine your essence. It means life believes in your capacity to grow through fire into something stronger, truer, freer. Think of the blacksmith. Metal is placed into the furnace not to be destroyed, but to be shaped. The heat softens it. The hammer refines it. The quenching hardens it into strength. In the same way, your struggles have been furnaces. They did not break you. They tempered you. They shaped resilience, deepened compassion, expanded perspective. What felt like collapse was in truth preparation. Look back at your path with these eyes. See how every detour brought you to exactly where you stand. See how every closed door redirected you to something essential. See how every loss created space for new becoming. You could not have arrived here by any other route. The field wastes nothing. Even your mistakes were alchemical ingredients in the larger transformation. This is why you are here now, reading these words, resonating with their frequency. It is not chance. It is confirmation. The challenges that once made you doubt are the very evidence that you were chosen. For only those capable of carrying certain lessons are entrusted with them. Only those strong enough to embody deeper coherence are asked to endure certain storms. And with this recognition, a new sense of purpose dawns. You stop asking, why me? And begin to ask, why not me? You stop resisting the weight and begin to see it as evidence of your capacity. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the consciousness that chose these exact circumstances for your evolution. This understanding frees you from the small stories of misfortune and lifts you into the larger narrative of awakening. But to live as chosen requires practice. It requires that you respond differently, that you make choices not from fear, but from knowing. It requires that you trust intuition over doubt, coherence over fragmentation, alignment over convenience. Each moment offers a choice. Retreat into the old self that needed struggle to feel worthy, or step forward as a new self who knows worth is intrinsic. Practice does not mean perfection. It means participation. It means showing up again and again, planting seeds of intention, aligning with truth even when evidence lags behind. It means continuing to choose coherence when the old patterns whisper that fragmentation would be easier. Each choice strengthens the signal. Each act of alignment reinforces the frequency. And as you practice, reality confirms. Opportunities align. Synchronicities multiply. The right people appear not by magic, but by resonance. The field reorganizes itself around your frequency because that is its nature. Coherence calls forth coherence. Alignment attracts alignment. Soon you begin to notice another shift. Your sense of time itself transforms. No longer do you feel behind, racing to catch up, fearing the clock. Instead, you sense a deeper rhythm, a perfect timing in all things. You realize you cannot be late for your own destiny. What is meant for you arrives at the moment you are ready, no sooner, no later. This trust dissolves anxiety. It brings patience. It anchors you in eternal now. In this now, destiny and free will merge. You see that your soul chose the broad strokes of this life. Your lessons, your gifts, your path of growth. Yet within those parameters, your freedom is boundless. You are the painter free to choose every color, the musician free to improvise within the key. Destiny provides a canvas. Free will brings it to life. And your desires, your authentic longings, are the bridge between the two. They are not arbitrary. They are encoded instructions, guiding you toward the very experiences your soul came here to embody. Follow them, and you follow destiny. Deny them, and you create dissonance. But even dissonance has its place, for it drives you back toward harmony. Nothing is wasted, nothing outside the pattern. The field bends every path, even the crooked ones, back toward alignment. This recognition softens your grip. You no longer demand constant certainty. You no longer fear the unknown. You begin to see mystery not as threat, but as invitation. Life ceases to be a puzzle to solve and becomes a dance to join. You are no longer a stranger in a hostile world. You are a participant in a vast symphony, playing your part in perfect timing. And as you settle into this knowing, a subtle peace arises. It is not the absence of challenge, but the presence of trust. It is not the guarantee of outcomes, but the confidence of alignment. It is not escape from the world, but immersion in it. Seeing everything as sacred, everything is chosen. The deeper you lean into this awareness, the more you begin to see that life is not happening to you, but through you. The outer world is not a stage on which you perform. It is a mirror reflecting your inner state. The observer and the observer are not two, but one movement of consciousness gazing upon itself. The mirror reveals what is hidden. Every circumstance in your life is a reflection, showing you the frequency you are carrying, the beliefs you are broadcasting, the coherence or fragmentation within. When you resist what appears, you resist your own reflection. When you embrace it, you unlock its teaching. This is why challenges feel so persistent. They will keep appearing until the lesson they mirror is recognized. Once integrated, the reflection shifts and the outer world reorganizes to match the new alignment. Most people misunderstand this principle. They believe reality is an external authority, handing out rewards and punishments. They interpret events as proof of worth or failure. But the mirror does not judge, it simply reflects. It cannot show you anything other than what you project. And so, when you begin to live as chosen, you no longer fight the mirror. You study it, learn from it, and then choose what you wish to project anew. Think of standing before a glass. If you scowl, the reflection scowls. If you smile, the reflection smiles. You would never attempt to reach into the glass and change the image directly. You change yourself, and the reflection follows. The same is true with reality. To change what appears, you must change the frequency of your own consciousness. This is why alignment is everything. This does not mean suppressing your humanity, pretending to feel joy when you feel grief, forcing positivity when you are in pain. The mirror responds not to your performance, but to your authenticity. True alignment is not denial, it is integration. It is a willingness to feel fully, to witness the parts of yourself that ache or fear, and to bring them into coherence with love rather than rejection. When all aspects of you are welcomed, the signal becomes clear, and the field responds accordingly. As you practice this, you begin to see your life as an ongoing dialogue between you and the field. Every event is a response to a question you may not even realize you asked. Every challenge is a doorway into greater coherence. Every synchronicity is a nod of confirmation, a whisper that says, "Yes, keep going." The more you listen, the more fluent you become in the language of reality. And in this fluency, you discover that being chosen is not a static state, but an ongoing invitation. Each day, each moment, you are asked, will you live from alignment or from fear? Will you choose coherence or fragmentation? Will you act as though you are separate, or as though you are the field itself expressing a unique facet of infinity? This choice becomes your practice. It is not a single decision made once and never revisited. It is a continual turning, a daily remembering. Like the gardener tending the soil, you return again and again to weed, to water, to plant, to harvest. And with each act, the garden becomes more abundant. In time, the evidence of alignment grows undeniable. Synchronicities multiply beyond what could be dismissed as coincidence. Resources flow with uncanny timing. The right people appear at the precise moment they are needed. Obstacles transform into opportunities. What once seemed impossible begins to unfold with elegance that defies explanation. This is not magic. It is coherence made visible. And yet, even as life becomes more fluid, challenges remain. For growth never ceases, and the field continues to call you into greater expressions of yourself. But now, you meet challenge differently. Instead of shrinking from it, you step toward it. Instead of interpreting it as proof of failure, you see it as evidence of readiness. Every difficulty becomes a workshop where consciousness refines itself. Every obstacle becomes a sculptor's chisel, carving away what no longer belongs. This recognition changes the texture of your days. Even when life feels heavy, you sense the hidden purpose beneath the weight. Even when the path twists, you trust the unseen intelligence guiding each turn. Even when winter settles upon your garden, you know spring is already forming beneath the soil. This trust is not naive optimism. It is the wisdom of alignment. And as trust deepens, so does surrender. Surrender is not defeat. It is the recognition that you are not separate from the intelligence orchestrating your life. It is the willingness to release control, to allow timing beyond your comprehension, to accept that the field may deliver in ways you could never have planned. This surrender is paired with effort. Effort rooted in inspiration rather than fear. Action born of alignment rather than desperation. Together, effort and surrender form the dance of creation. When you move with this rhythm, life becomes collaboration. You bring intention, clarity, and willingness. The field brings synchronicity, timing, and orchestration. Neither can function without the other. Too much effort without surrender leads to exhaustion. Too much surrender without effort leads to stagnation. But when the two harmonize, creation flows like music. And through this flow, you begin to experience a subtler transformation, a new relationship to identity itself. You no longer cling so tightly to who you think you are. You see identity as clothing, useful, beautiful, but not the essence. Beneath every role, every story, every preference lies pure awareness. This awareness is untouched, unchanged by circumstance. It was present before you were born and will remain after your body is gone. This awareness is a chosen one, the eternal core of your being. To recognize this is to live with a quiet confidence. You stop needing to prove yourself, because what you are cannot be diminished. You stop fearing loss, because what you are cannot be taken. You stop resisting change, because what you are remains constant amidst every transformation. Identity may shift, circumstances may rise and fall, but awareness abides. This is the anchor in the storm, the sun behind every cloud. And as you rest more deeply in this awareness, you realize that being chosen is not something that happened to you. It is what you are. It is not a status granted by an external authority. It is the essence of consciousness itself. The field does not select some and reject others. It expresses through all. The only difference is whether one recognizes it. To be chosen is to awaken to what has always been true. This awakening does not make you separate or superior. It draws you deeper into connection, deeper into responsibility. For when you know you're the field, you can no longer pretend that your choices do not matter. Every thought is a seed in the collective soil. Every action waters the garden of humanity. Every vibration you broadcast ripples outward, influencing the whole. To live as chosen is to accept this responsibility with humility and reverence. The world needs your gifts, not someday, but now. Not after you have perfected yourself, but exactly as you are. The field brought you here to this moment because you are ready. Not ready to be flawless, but ready to be authentic. Not ready to escape humanity, but ready to embody divinity through humanity. Not ready to retreat from the world, but ready to serve it with a light that only you can carry. This is why your dreams matter. They are not selfish whims, but encoded instructions about your purpose. They are the universe whispering through your heart, calling you toward the contribution you came to make. To deny them is to deny the very reason you are here. To honor them is to align with destiny itself. So do not wait for conditions to be perfect. Do not postpone your becoming. Begin now, with the resources you have, with the courage available to you in this breath. Plant the seed. Water it with trust. Tend it with action. Allow the seasons to do their work. Your garden will grow because it is already growing within you. And as you live this way, as you embody the truth of being chosen, you become a beacon for others. Your coherence resonates outward, calling forth coherence in those around you. Your alignment creates ripples in the field, accelerating the awakening of the collective. Transformation multiplies when shared. The gardener within you is also the gardener of the world, tending not only your soil, but the soil of humanity. This is the gift of remembering that your awakening is not for you alone. It is for the whole. As you live in alignment, you contribute to the alignment of all. As you embody your purpose, you invite others to embody theirs. As you recognize yourself as chosen, you remind others that they too are chosen. The awakening to being chosen deepens when you begin to sense the rhythm of your own becoming. Just as a symphony moves through crescendos and rests, your life has been orchestrated with precision. Every pause, every surge, every silence is part of a larger music. The mind may protest, longing for constant growth, constant progress, constant evidence. But the field knows balance. It calls you into cycles of expansion and integration, action and rest, becoming and being. To resist these cycles is to create suffering. To honor them is to walk in harmony. When you allow yourself to be in winter without fear, spring returns with greater vitality. When you rest in summer's slow ripening, autumn brings a richer harvest. When you release in autumn, winter offers space for deeper transformation. The rhythm itself is the teacher. You need not rush. You need not delay. You are always exactly where you need to be in the cycle. This rhythm reveals something profound about the nature of time. You begin to perceive that what appears as sequential is, from another perspective, simultaneous. The past is not behind you. It is a pattern vibrating in the present. The future is not ahead of you. It is a potential vibrating in the present. All moments exist within eternal now, waiting for your consciousness to select which thread to weave into experience. This is why alignment with future possibilities feels so powerful. When you resonate with the frequency of who you are becoming, you are not merely hoping for a distant reality. You are aligning with a timeline already existing in consciousness. You are stepping into the stream where that version of you is already real. The moment you align, present conditions begin to shift. The mirror adjusts to reflect the new signal. Opportunities appear not from nowhere, but from the timeline you have merged with. And so, destiny is not a fixed script, but a set of possibilities, each one waiting for resonance. Free will is the power to choose which possibility you align with. Destiny provides a landscape. Free will selects the path through it. Your deepest desires are not obstacles to transcend, but guides to follow, for they are the way destiny speaks through you. They are the voice of the future, calling the present into coherence. To live this way is to walk with trust, not blind faith, but trust born of recognition. You see the patterns. You notice the synchronicities. You feel the resonance. And each confirmation strengthens your confidence. You realize that what you call guidance has always been present, only drowned out by the noise of fear and doubt. Now, as coherence builds, the guidance grows louder, clearer, undeniable. And the guidance does not always lead you where you expect. Often, it calls you into uncertainty, into paths that defy logic, into choices that others may not understand. Yet when you follow, you discover treasures that no plan could have secured. This is a paradox of being chosen. The path is never linear, but it is always perfect. Each step reveals itself in timing. You cannot see the whole journey at once, for that would rob you the experience of discovery. You are meant to walk by trust, one step at a time, guided by resonance. Each step aligns you with the next. Each choice opens a way for the following. Like the gardener tending daily, you need not see the harvest to know the seeds will grow. This trust transforms how you meet uncertainty. Where once you resisted the unknown, now you welcome it as the fertile ground of possibility. Mystery ceases to be a threat and becomes companion. You realize that the unknown is not empty but full, overflow potential waiting for your alignment. To fear the unknown is to fear your own becoming. To embrace it is to embrace the infinite. And as you lean into this, you begin to notice the subtle presence of your future self. It is not a fantasy. It is a real dimension of your being, already alive in another thread of the now. That self whispers through intuition, nudges through synchronicity, guides through resonance. When you honor those whispers, you merge with that version. When you ignore them, you delay but cannot destroy the possibility. For destiny waits patiently, always available, always calling. This is why intuition is so vital. It is the language of your future self. It does not shout, it whispers. It does not argue, it resonates. It does not explain, it knows. To live as chosen is to cultivate the quiet listening that hears these whispers beneath the noise. It is to value resonance above logic, inner knowing above external approval. Each time you trust, you strengthen the channel. Each time you ignore, you muffle it. But the voice never disappears. It waits, patient, constant, eternal. In a world that profits from distraction, to listen inwardly is a revolutionary act. Every moment you choose stillness over stimulation, presence over performance, awareness over avoidance, you reclaim sovereignty. You return to the center. And from that center, coherence radiates outward, influencing everything you touch. This coherence does not isolate you. It connects you, for the field is collective. Your frequency contributes to the whole. Every act of alignment strengthens the resonance of humanity. Every choice to live as chosen plants seeds in the collective soil. Even if unseen, your coherence ripples outward, inspiring others, awakening others, supporting others. This is why your awakening matters. It is not for you alone, but for all. When enough individuals live as chosen, a critical mass forms. The field shifts. Possibilities once invisible become visible for everyone. Transformation accelerates. The collective garden blooms. You are not only tending your own soil, you are tending the soil of the world. Each act of courage, Each moment of trust, each choice of love waters the seeds of awakening for all beings. This recognition brings both humility and responsibility. Humility, because you see that you are one facet of an infinite whole. Responsibility, because you see that your choices ripple through that whole. To live as chosen is to honor both. You are not here to carry the world alone, but neither are you here to pretend your life does not matter. It matters deeply, profoundly, cosmically. And so, you begin to live differently. Each decision becomes sacred. Each interaction becomes meaningful. Each breath becomes a prayer, not in the sense of ritualized performance, but in the sense of presence. You realize that the sacred was never elsewhere. It has always been here, in the ordinary, in the now. To live as chosen is to see the sacred everywhere. Even in challenge, you sense the sacred. Even in pain, you sense the purpose. Even in silence, you sense the presence. Life ceases to be random and becomes revelation. Each day becomes an unfolding of truth. Each moment a message from a field. The question is no longer, why is this happening? But what is this teaching? The shift is subtle, but it changes everything. And as you live in this way, contentment deepens, not complacency, but the peace of alignment. You stop waiting for tomorrow to validate today. You stop chasing conditions that prove your worth. You rest in the knowing that you are already chosen, already enough, already aligned. From this rest, creativity flows. From this rest, action arises. From this rest, life blossoms. This blossoming is not a single event, but a continual unfolding. Like the garden, it moves through seasons, through cycles, through endless renewal. You are not rushing toward a destination, but participating in an eternal becoming. Each day you bloom a little more, and each day you shed what no longer serves. This is the rhythm of chosen life. It is not about arrival, but about expression. Not about perfection, but about participation. You are the gardener and the garden, the seed and the soil, the water and the sun. You are the field and the form. You are the chosen one, not by accident, not by privilege, but by essence. To live is to be chosen. To awaken is to remember it. The remembering grows clearer the more you embody it. At first, it flickers like a flame in the wind, fragile and uncertain. Then, through practice, it steadies. Through trust, it strengthens. Through surrender, it expands. Until one day, you realize it has become the ground you walk upon, the air you breathe, the rhythm of your very heartbeat. The awareness of being chosen is no longer a thought you visit. It is the atmosphere of your existence. And from this atmosphere, your life begins to take on a new texture. The ordinary feels infused with significance. The mundane becomes luminous. The smallest moments reveal themselves as portals to the infinite. A conversation with a stranger carries the weight of destiny. A sunrise feels like a personal message from the universe. Even silence hums with presence, as though the field itself is whispering through every detail of your day. This does not mean that challenges vanish. It means that challenges are reframed. They become opportunities rather than obstacles, invitations rather than punishments. Each difficulty calls forth a deeper coherence, a fuller embodiment, a stronger alignment. You begin to see that nothing in your path is wasted, that every twist and turn is purposeful. Even what once felt like detours reveals itself as the most direct route to who you are becoming. The gardener's wisdom echoes here. Every weed is information, not failure. Every barren patch is preparation, not inadequacy. Every storm is nourishment in disguise. The cycles of your life are not mistakes, but the rhythm of your awakening. The seasons turn and you turn with them, no longer resisting but flowing, no longer demanding constant bloom but honoring rest, no longer judging the pace but trusting the process. This trust expands into your relationship with time. The future ceases to feel distant. It becomes something you access in the now, through resonance, through alignment, through coherence. Your future self is not a dream but a presence, guiding your steps, leaving clues, arranging encounters. You sense its hand in the synchronicities, in the intuition that stirs, in the opportunities that arrive with uncanny timing. The future is not waiting for you. It is meeting you in every moment you choose to align. And so, the distinction between free will and destiny dissolves. You see that your soul chose certain lessons, certain gifts, certain parameters for this life. Within those parameters, your freedom is infinite. You are the painter with a canvas, the musician with an instrument, the dancer with a stage. Destiny provides a framework. Free will provide the expression. And your authentic desires, the longings that stir deepest in your heart, are not random. They are the blueprint of destiny itself, expressed through the language of individuality. When you honor those desires, you honor your soul's choice. When you suppress them, you create dissonance. Yet even dissonance is used by the field, bending you back toward alignment. Nothing is wasted, nothing outside the pattern. Every path, even the crooked ones, leads home. This recognition softens the fear of mistakes. You understand that you cannot step outside of destiny, for destiny is the ocean in which you swim. You can resist the current, you can delay the journey, but you cannot escape it. Sooner or later, all resistance dissolves, and you are carried by the river of your own becoming. This is not loss of freedom, but liberation. For when you stop fearing wrong turns, you begin to walk with courage. When you stop fearing failure, you begin to live with authenticity. When you stop fearing time, you begin to rest in eternity. From this place, a new way of being arises. It is subtle yet profound. You move with less urgency, but greater purpose. You act with less fear, but greater clarity. You speak with less pretense, but greater truth. You live not to prove, but to express. Not to strive, but to align. Not to survive, but to embody. And this embodiment radiates outward. Others feel it, even if they cannot name it. They sense the coherence in your presence, the authenticity in your being, the peace in your eyes. Without trying, you become a mirror for them, reminding them of what lies within themselves. Your awakening awakens. Your coherence coheres. Your alignment inspires. This is how transformation spreads, not through argument, but through resonance. You realize in that being chosen is not about separation, but about service. You are chosen not to stand above others, but to stand with them, to contribute your frequency to the collective, to add your note to the symphony. Your gifts, your perspective, your unique way of being are not small. They are essential. The field needs every frequency, every facet, every expression. And the world needs you. Not someday, not when you are perfect, but now, exactly as you are. To live as chosen is to accept this responsibility. To walk into the world with the quiet confidence that your presence matters, that your choices ripple outward, that your life is a contribution. Not because you strive to make it so, but because it cannot be otherwise. The field expresses through you, and every expression is sacred. This recognition deepens your relationship with love. Love ceases to be something you chase or earn. It becomes a fabric of your being. You see love in yourself, in others, in the field itself. You begin to act not from fear of loss, but from overflow. You give not to be validated, but because giving is your nature. You receive not to be filled, but because receiving completes the circle. Love becomes less a feeling and more a state of coherence, the alignment of all parts of you with truth. And in love, fear dissolves. Not all at once, but steadily, like shadows retreating before the dawn. Fear loses its grip because you see its illusion. It was never the voice of truth, but the echo of separation. When you remember you are the field, there is nothing to fear. Even death loses its sting, for you recognize that awareness remains eternal, infinite, chosen. This awareness does not lead to withdrawal from life, but to deeper immersion. You savor the ordinary with reverence. The taste of food, the sound of rain, the warmth of a hand. You find the sacred in the simple, the infinite in the moment. Life ceases to be something you endure and becomes something you celebrate. Every day is a gift, every breath a miracle, every step a prayer. And yet, this celebration is not loud or grandiose. It is quiet, steady, luminous. It is a contentment of knowing you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you're meant to do, becoming exactly who you came here to be. This is the essence of living as chosen. Not a life free of challenge, but a life aligned with truth. Not a life of constant bloom, but a life that honors every season. Not a life of perfection, but a life of authenticity. As this realization settles, you begin to see the greater pattern, that your awakening is part of a larger awakening, your coherence part of a larger coherence, your transformation part of a larger transformation. The field is remembering itself through you and through countless others. The more each individual awakens, the more the collective shifts. The more the collective shifts, the more reality itself transforms. You are both participant and catalyst, both student and teacher, both seed and gardener. You are chosen not by chance but by essence, not by privilege but by purpose. To be alive in this time, in this body, with these challenges and these dreams is evidence enough. You are the chosen one because you are. So live as though it is true. Walk with the quiet confidence of alignment. Act with the courage of authenticity. Trust the whispers of intuition. Honor the rhythm of your becoming. Tend your garden with care, knowing every seed matters. And remember always that you are not separate from the field. You are the field, chosen to express itself as you. Your life is a proof. Your breath is the declaration. Your existence is the answer. You were chosen. You are chosen. You will always be chosen. Now live like it.